Hello, Anastasia. Hello, Tanya. How are you? I'm not bad. It's another cold, snowy day. Hello, Shina. Do I like snowy weather? I do, as long as it doesn't last too long. You know, in my city, we have 3 months of winter and 2 months that maybe have snow. All right. So, hello, everyone. Hello, Flavia. Okay, we're going to wait for just a few minutes for some more people to arrive before I start teaching. Today, we're going to talk about advanced English vocabulary. I have a list of about 52 words that are on the GRE. These are GRE words, but the GRE words are pretty much the same as the advanced vocabulary words required for the IELTS or TOEFL. You're welcome, Tanya. Thank you for your support. Even on a cold day, I still like a good cold iced coffee. How's everyone doing? Thank you, Mickey. Hello, Ro and Kathy. Okay, who wants to learn some advanced vocabulary words? Today is an advanced vocabulary class, so if you are not an advanced student, this might not be the best stream for you, okay? If your English is intermediate to advanced, then I think you can stay and participate. But if you're a beginner or beginner intermediate, this might be too hard for you. Okay? Most of my classes are meant for intermediate or beginner level, but today is going to be advanced. All right? Okay, we're just going to wait another couple minutes. Let me say hello to some people who are here. Hello, Lana in France. Hello, us, or I don't know how to say your name, or if it's just US. In Saudi Arabia, hello, Olivia and Olivia. There are two Olivias from China. Hello. Hello, Zara and Linda and Kathy and Min. Hello, Thinzar and Nala and Saif and Anastasia. Hello, Azza and Tanya and Patrick and Shina and Ali. Hello, Kutsia and Mickey and Ron and Ro and Kacha. Hello, Sonia and Leo. Hello, Nut and Sala, Stephanie. Hello, Zara. Hello, Brahim. And Yara and Stefania. And Noah and Sanjay and Nui and Dorothy and somebody named Unknown. And hello, Jess. All right. Everybody wants the vocabulary? All right, well, that's good. How many words should you master to become advanced? I don't think... It's not an easy question to answer because every person in this world actually has a different requirement of vocabulary, right? So it depends on who you are and what your language needs and purposes and goals are. Some people might only need to have a very basic understanding. So maybe they only need, 5 to 10,000 words. Some people might need to be able to express themselves more clearly in a more advanced way. Maybe you need 10,000 to 20,000 words. Some people, they want to be like a native speaker, in which case I think you need upwards of 20,000 plus words. Okay, but it depends because, again, the 20,000 words that this person learns are going to be slightly different than the 20,000 words that this other person learns, right? So there will be a lot of crossover, but there will be some words that maybe this person is an engineer, so they have a bunch of engineering words they know, but this person is a musician, so they have a bunch of musical terms that they know, right? So everybody's going to have a different vocabulary. Okay. Before I start, I'll answer this one question from Safe, who wants to know if I'm busy from time to time and I just practice, is it possible to forget the language? Yes and no. It depends on how you practice. If you use my trick, if you use my technique, my method of practicing with your mind, then no, you won't lose your language even if you don't use it very often, right? So as long as you can use the language in your mind, you can keep the language fresh, okay? And you won't lose it or forget it, okay? All right, Ro wants to know how, but today I'm not here to explain that. You can go to my YouTube channel, and if you watch some of my YouTube videos, I talk about this almost every live stream, so there are many live streams there. You can go and find one, watch it, and you'll hear me explain how to think in English many times, because everybody asks this question. Okay? All right, let's get started. We've got about 43 people here. It's time to get started. We're going to do some advanced vocabulary today, okay? I can tell you about my techniques, but not today because today I'm teaching about vocabulary. But if you go to my YouTube channel, you can find out all about my techniques on my YouTube channel, okay? All right, so here we go. We're going to get started. I'm going to share my screen. And this is a website that I found online that has the top 52 GRE words, definitions, and examples. Okay, let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger for you guys. Is that better? Is this, can you guys read those, or is it too small? I can try to make it a little bit bigger. Too small. Okay, let me try to make it bigger. Oops, wrong one. How about that? Perfect? Okay, great. All right, so let's look at our first word today. The first word we are learning today is this one, anomaly. Anomaly. It's an anomaly. So what is an anomaly, everyone? An anomaly, it's a noun. It's something that is unusual or unexpected, okay? And I think in most of my experience, it's something that is very unusual or very unexpected. When we use the word anomaly or anomalous is the adjective form of the word, it usually is either a scientific word, which if it's a scientific word, it just means unusual or unexpected. But if you're using it in regular conversation, I think it's a word we use when it's something very strange. So, for example, if tomorrow the temperature in my city was 75 degrees Fahrenheit, you know, like 20, let's say 21 degrees Celsius. It's winter now, right? So the temperature outside in right now is -2 Celsius, okay? But if tomorrow it was 24 or 21, that would be an anomaly. That would be an anomaly, okay? So that's the word anomaly. Let's look at the sentence they have here. The student's poor performance on the latest test was an anomaly since she had previously earned excellent grades. So that means she usually gets very good grades, but this one time she took a test recently and she didn't do well, so it was an anomaly. Abnormal, yeah. That would be a synonym for it. The only thing I would say is abnormal versus anomaly. Anomaly means something unexpected or different. Abnormal means something either unexpected and surprising or strange. And strange can be a little different. Strange doesn't necessarily have anything to do with statistics. It just means maybe you think something is, I don't know, maybe you think it's ugly. You could say it's abnormal. I don't know. You know, I guess I'm trying to say abnormal is a cousin of anomaly, but I wouldn't say it's an entirely synonymous word. Okay? Norman? Okay, so that was the first word, anomaly, everyone. Why don't you guys try, if you want to, you can write a sentence. Write a sentence and use the word anomaly, and I'll try to tell you if it's correct or not. Okay? An anomaly is something strange or new and surprising and different than before. Can you write it? Oh, Mickey, you're going to be surprised, but guess what? The majority of native-speaking English speakers do not know how to use pronunciation symbols, right? IPA. I don't use them, so I can't help you with which one it is, unfortunately. But I can pronounce it for you. Lee. Okay, anomaly. Taking a cold bath in winter is an anomaly action. Okay, not bad. But Safia, I would say taking a cold bath in winter is an anomalous action. You could say Lous at the end instead of ly. And that would be the adjective form of it, where you're saying this, what kind of action is it? It's an anomalous action. Okay? You're describing it. Okay? I met my friend's anomaly at a restaurant. No, you could say, let me think. Usually, I meet my friend at her house. But today, I met my friend at the restaurant. Today was an anomaly. Okay, so usually you do one thing. Today you did something very different. That would make that an anomaly. It was an anomaly when I saw the defeat of Muhammad Ali. Muhammad, I don't think I would use it that way. I know what you mean. But maybe a better sentence would be Muhammad Ali was nearly undefeated, but did have one anomalous loss. Okay? He did have one anomalous loss. Okay? Mickey says the test results showed an anomaly that the scientists couldn't immediately explain. Perfect. That's a perfect example. Okay? We must correct those injustices and anomalies. Maybe. But again, anomaly just means something unexpected. But unexpected isn't always bad, right? So an anomaly could be a good anomaly, right? Maybe last year as a farmer, you didn't have very much food, but this year you have tons of food. That's an anomaly, but it's a good one. So you don't want to correct that, right? Okay? So anomalies are not always bad. They're just unexpected. Okay? Safe, you could just say that day was really an anomaly. Okay? Meaning it was different than previously. Okay? Warm weather in my city in winter is a huge anomaly. Perfect, Anastasia. Very good. Yeah. All the time I used to practice my English every day, but an anomaly habit happened and I stopped for a while. You could say an anomalous habit. An anomalous habit happened, okay? If you use it as anomaly, that's a noun, okay? It was an anomaly. But if you're describing a habit, what kind of habit was it? It was an unexpected habit, so it was anomalous. Okay? Do you have to use anomaly? No, you don't have to use it, but these are advanced vocabulary words, right? So advanced vocabulary words are not words that you can use all the time, everywhere. No, these are words that are a little bit more rarely used and more formal, right? In astronomy, the unexpected movement of the planet was an anomaly that required further investigation. Good, Mickey. Okay, and hello, Oxy. Drinking tea at 2 a.m. is an anomalous habit. Yes, that's good. That's a good one. Anomalous, right? So the other form of the word is this. Let me make sure I'm spelling it right. M-A. Anomalous. Okay? It was an anomalous event. It was an anomaly. Okay? So if you describe an event, a thing, then you're putting it as an adjective. right? It was an anomalous blah, blah, blah. Or you use it as a noun, it was an anomaly. Okay? My daughter doesn't have the cupcake that I made for her. That's an anomaly. She loves them a lot. Let me think. How could I use that in that sentence? I think you could say, Aza, you could say, I usually make cupcakes for my daughter every day because she loves them. But today was an anomaly because I did not make any. Okay? So I usually make cupcakes every day for my daughter, but today was an anomaly. I didn't make any. Okay? Hello, Belen. Hello, kids. Hello, Adri. Hello, Marius. Ahmed says the anomalous rise of temperature in the Earth is really dangerous. Yes, the anomalous rise. Okay, hello, Maria. I was going to college, anomaly I met in an accident. Praveen, nope, that's not going to work. Try again, Praveen. This is an anomalous situation that requires immediate attention. Very good, Mickey. Siamese twins are an anomaly. Yeah, that's a good way to use it too. Right. Unexpected, rarely happens, right? Surprising. Laughing at the funeral is an anomalous behavior. See, now that's one, Sophia, that I would use the word abnormal for that, not anomalous. Okay, because what you're trying to describe is the strangeness. Okay, so that's what I meant, that anomalous and abnormal are not exactly the same. Abnormal implies some kind of strange, weird quality sometimes, whereas anomalous just means something that was unexpected or different than before. Okay, could be good, could be bad. This sudden increase in traffic seems to be an anomaly. Good. Yes. In Russia now, we have anomalous warm weather, okay? Or you could say, in Russia now, the warm weather is an anomaly. Okay, Oxy? Okay, let's move on to the next word. Let's go on to the next word. Equivocal. Equivocal. Right here. Equivocal is an adjective. And what does it mean? It means not easily understood or explained. I don't think that's a very good definition for it. Hold on a minute. Let me give you a better definition on that word. All right, let's see. Yeah, so this definition is not really that good. Let me give you a better definition. Equivocal is when you are explaining something, but you're allowing the possibility of several different outcomes. And you're doing that on purpose because you kind of want to trick people or deceive people, right? So it means of uncertain significance or not determined. So what it means is if I say he's equivocating, to equivocate means to say, well, it could have been this here, but it also could have been this thing here. And you didn't read this one thing I read yesterday that says it also could be this one thing. So you say it's because of A, but I say it could also be because of B, or maybe it's A and B, and maybe it's A and B and C, and maybe it's C and A. You're kind of trying to confuse people by presenting all the options as though they're equal. So that's where the word equal You know the word equal. It means the same, right? So to equivocate, to be equivocal, means to tell everybody that here are your choices and they are all the same, but maybe they're not really all the same. So you're trying to convince people, you're presenting information in a way that makes you feel like those answers must be the same, but they're not. Okay. Ambiguous. Ambiguous is similar, but ambiguous just means unclear, right? So when you equivocate, when you are equivocal, you often are ambiguous. But again, I kind of feel like ambiguous is kind of a cousin of equivocal, but not exactly the same. Okay? And suspicious. To equivocate, to be equivocal, can be suspicious behavior. But I don't think I would call that a synonym either. Okay? So when someone does equivocate, it can be suspicious. You know, politicians equivocate all the time. Okay? Gray area, that's a little bit different. Gray area is when you literally are saying that there are, you know, here's choice A and choice B, but really we're, you know, everybody thinks it's all this way and everybody thinks it's all this way, but really it's kind of in the middle. Okay? That's slightly different than equivocating, where equivocating would be, let me think of a good way to equivocate, like a simple way. If I say, here's an apple, and here is a salad, and here is McDonald's, and here is a steak, they're all good food. Technically, I'm equivocating. I'm being equivocal. I'm presenting you with 4 food options, and I just told you they're all good. And they are. But are they all equal? No. An apple and a salad are much more healthy than McDonald's and maybe a steak, right? Yeah, it is tricky. Yeah, it is tricky. Let's see, Bellin says, on the matter of his half-brother, he is less equivocal. Let me think. Yeah, I think you could, it depends on what you're trying to describe, but yeah, if you're trying to say that when he describes his half-brother, he is he knows exactly which one is good and bad. Right? He describes things differently. He says this one is good and this one is bad, right? But with everybody else, he says, well, these are both pretty good. You know, that's equivocal, okay? You know, it's like a form of being fraudulent. You know, it's a kind of like a form of lying, but it's like a tricky form of lying, right? Okay, so to be equivocal. And here it says, politicians have been known to provide equivocal answers to reporters' questions, right? So the reporter says, you know, well, why is climate change happening, sir? Is it because of the oil companies? And the politician will say, well, there are some people who think it could be because of the oil companies, but other people who also believe that it's a natural occurrence, that this study says that, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I also read another study, and this company over here believes that it's because of this. And so we are unsure of what the answer really is. You know, that's what politicians do. They never really say anything, right? Equivocating is a tricky politician's trick because you want an answer, and they'll try to give you a bunch of information without actually choosing anything. That's equivocating. Okay? All right. Equivocal means you pretend to let others, kind of. Equivocal means that you're presenting multiple options as though they're the same when they are not. Okay? You're trying to kind of present things in a way that makes them look like they are equal, but they are not equal. Okay? After an equivocal conversation with the salesman, I ended up buying a worthless product instead of a good one. Right, perfect, Mohammed. That's a perfect example of how to use it. An equivocal conversation with the salesman. So you were talking to the salesman, and you want him to tell you that's the one you should get. But he said, well, this one is good, but this one over here is also pretty good. And I also heard this one over here is pretty good too. His answers are kind of equivocal, okay? Can we use tricky instead of equivocal? No. To be equivocal is tricky, but to be tricky is not to be equivocal. Okay, tricky is a broader word. Okay, it's a bigger word. Okay. All right. The equivocal nature of the evidence made it hard for the jury to reach a verdict. Again, perfect. Right. So the lawyers presented the options of what possibly happened in a way that made it difficult for the jury to choose because they all seemed like good possibilities. Right? Okay. The noun of equivocal is an adjective. Equivocate is a verb. Let me think. I don't know if there is. Let me see. Equivocate. Noun form. Equivocation would be the noun form. I should have known that. Equivocation. The results of the investigation were equivocal. Good. People who pretend to be psychics or witches always equivocate in order to make people think that their speech is about their life. Very good, Anastasia. Yes, good. His equivocal answer left everyone unsure of his real opinion. Perfect, Yara. Yeah. His equivocal response has done nothing to dampen the speculation. Perfect. Exactly. That's exactly what equivocal means. You gave an answer, but nobody has any idea what to choose because your answer really didn't say anything. You know, it didn't make it clear which one's the right one. Okay? Okay, let's look at the next word. Let's look at the next word. Lucid. Lucid. It's an adjective. To be lucid means to be very clear and easy to understand. Okay? However, I think there's also another better way to say that one. Yeah. So lucid has kind of two meanings that involve clarity. Okay? So it can mean very clear and easy to understand, or it also can mean to have clear perception, a clear mind, right? If I say he's very lucid, that means that he has an ability to think clearly and understand clearly, okay? He's very lucid, okay? So very clear and easy to understand. So the lecture was lucid and straightforward, allowing the students to fully grasp the concepts presented, okay? So it was a lucid and straightforward discussion. It means it was easy to understand. It was a good discussion. Everybody understood. It wasn't confusing. It was lucid. Okay? But again, there's a second way to use the term lucid, which means more like clear-headed, clear thinking. Right? Is he lucid? Okay? So for example, let's see. For example, they use this when they're talking about the patient was not lucid. Maybe you're having an emotional breakdown, a mental breakdown, and you're a little bit crazy right now. You can't think well, so you're not lucid. Okay? You're not lucid. So sometimes lucid has to do with clarity of mind, and sometimes lucid has to do with clarity of understanding. Okay? We are learning advanced vocabulary, everyone. We're learning advanced vocabulary. I like to have lucid discussions. That's good. Yeah. He is a lucid teacher. He explains everything well. Okay, good. Yeah. Or you could say he is a good teacher or a great teacher because his explanations are very lucid. Okay? Even in his old age, he was still lucid and had a sharp mind. Good. Good. Yeah. Your explanation is very lucid. Zaris is shining. Lucid does have another third meaning that does mean shining, but that is a very rare and uncommon usage. Okay? So it's not often used in that sense. There are only a few kind of situations that happens. If we drink a lot, we're not lucid. Sure, Lana. The professor gave a lucid explanation of the complex theory. Good. My ex-girlfriend was not lucid with me. I think, Ashraf, if you want to say something like that, you could say, I was trying to understand my ex-girlfriend, but her explanation was not very lucid. Okay, her explanation was not very lucid. Bellin says, this lucid work raises new issues about his discussions, maybe. Let me think. You could say, yeah, this lucid work raises new issues about this discussion, right? Like maybe somebody wrote a new book and it's got a new clear understanding of what really happened about something in the past. So now the discussion is going to be new, right? His lucid plan helped him to reach his goal easily. Okay, that works. A lucid introduction to the philosophy of mind. Ooh, that's a good one. After good and deep sleep, my mind is very lucid. Okay. Is it possible to say you are lucid in your explanation? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Or his explanations are very lucid. Okay. Okay, good. All right. Everybody understand lucid now? Yeah? And I'm curious. I want to look at something. Lucid, where's this word come from? I'm sure it's Latin. Lucid comes from the Latin word lucidus, meaning light or bright or clear. Yeah, so the original meaning actually means more like bright and light and clear, right? But metaphorically, when someone gives a good explanation, it's kind of like they shined light on you. They made it brighter, right? They made it more clear, right? Able to see. So that's why it's a metaphorical meaning, okay? All right, let's look at the next one. To precipitate. To precipitate. Precipitate. To precipitate is a verb that means to cause something to happen quickly or suddenly. Okay? To cause something to happen quickly or suddenly. All right? To precipitate. But again, I'm not a big fan of that definition. Let me find a better definition for you. Yeah, that's a better way to say it, I think. To make something happen more quickly is to precipitate the action, okay? Give me 1 minute. I want to look at something. I'm trying to figure out how to link the meteorological meaning. Okay, so look at it like this. The word precipitate, it means to make something happen more quickly, almost like you're pushing it, right? You're pushing it, right? And the word precipitate is related to another word, precipitation. Do you guys know the word precipitation? Yeah, it means rain or snow or sleet, right? Precipitation is a weather word. It means, is there any precipitation today? Means, is it raining? Is it snowing? Is there any kind of wet things falling down? It's precipitation. So the word precipitate and the word precipitation kind of have a relationship, because the word precipitate means to make something happen more quickly, or it means to throw something down, right? So rain, it is falling down. It's being thrown down from the sky. So rain is precipitation because it is being pushed down, right? It is being made to happen, right, more quickly. So that's how I link the term precipitation and precipitate. Okay, so it says unforeseen costs can precipitate a budget crisis. Okay, so unforeseen means things you did not see. Costs that you did not see can make a budget crisis happen more quickly. Okay, so if you didn't see these costs, you have a business and you didn't see these unexpected costs that are coming that you have to pay for, that can create or make a budget crisis happen more quickly. Okay, to precipitate. All right, let me check out your sentences here. Is it possible to use precipitate when you take a decision? When you make a decision, let me think. Yes, you could say, this new information precipitated my decision, meaning it forced you to make a new decision. It forced you to make an answer, okay? To contribute or accelerate. Again, Mickey, those are words that are related to this, but not exactly a perfect equal definition, okay? Precipitate in chemistry has a different meaning, extra byproduct. Let me think. To separate a substance in solid form from a solution as by means of a reagent. Yes, but it doesn't though, Mohan, because in chemistry, it still means to cause something to happen, meaning to cause the substance to separate in solid form. Right? So something caused it to blah, blah, blah. That's how the meaning is still related. The chemistry meaning and the common meaning. Okay? Don't precipitate taking decisions or making decisions, we say. Don't precipitate making decisions means, yeah, don't rush it, right? Yeah. Okay, the annual precipitation in this area is about 800 millimeters. Sure. Precipitation always used with chemicals, materials, and reaction. Right. Okay, yeah, it has, again, there are some words that have a common meaning and a scientific meaning, right? And usually they're related. Okay, the villain attempted to precipitate the hero from the top of the building. You could say the villain attempted to precipitate. Let me think. I think, Zara, I know what you mean, I think, but let's change it a little bit. Let's change the story. Let's say the hero attempted to precipitate the capture of the villain from the top of the building. So in this case, we're talking about precipitating what? The capture, okay? To precipitate the capture of the villain, all right? Because of precipitation in the morning, I could not go to college. Good. A precipitate retreat led to their defeat. Yeah, you could use it that way. I mean, that's a fairly formal, that sounds like a history book, you know? Fake news precipitated the tensions between the two communities. Very good. Yes. Okay? To precipitate the tension means to cause it to happen more quickly, right? Ghazal, yeah, I forgot to mention that to them. Let me send them a message about the subtitles. The subtitles have not been working for me for a while, and I don't know why. Let me send them a message and tell them. Okay. The rainstorm precipitated our decision to cancel the outdoor event. Good. It forced you to make a decision. Some rash political decisions can precipitate other bad consequences. Very good. Yeah. Means to hasten. Yeah. Means to make it happen more quickly. That's right. Her mom precipitates her to make a decision about her job. You could say the pressure her mom put on her precipitated her to make a decision. Hello, Sayoma. Thank you for the gifts. What is the adjective and noun of precipitate? So the noun is precipitation. The adjective, let me see. It could be, precipitate can also be, it can be a verb, a adjective, or a noun, okay, depending on how you use it. The director precipitated the actor to cry. Yes, but I think I would just change it a little bit. I would say the director precipitated the actors crying. Okay? Don't precipitate responding. Don't, let me think. I think, Mona, you could say, don't precipitate your response. Think carefully about what you are saying before you reply. Something like that might work, okay? Precipitate your goal in life is good for you. To precipitate, in this case, would work, I think. She's stuck in traffic precipitately. Yes, you could say it that way, although that seems a bit weird, you know. Remember, people, you know, language is a funny thing. You could use it in that way. She was stuck in traffic precipitately. But I feel like that's a weird way to describe such a mundane thing, right? Being stuck in traffic is a common thing that happens to a lot of people. It's a regular, everyday event. So to me, it seems a little strange sometimes to use uncommon words for common daily things, right? That's why vocabulary is kind of like cooking. You have to know which spice to use when, right? Sometimes you want to use this spice when you're cooking this food, but you need to use another kind of spices when you cook another kind of food. It's different, right? Vocabulary is that way. They're like spices. They're not always good, okay? What's the difference between crying and to cry? Technically nothing, you know, just the different form, right? I just think that in that case, the sentence flows better using crying rather than to cry. You can use either. Remember, language is not math. That was my personal choice. I was telling you that I think that it sounds better if you use the other form. Okay? I precipitated zooming the picture, but in vain. Maybe. I'm not sure how you mean, but I think it's possible that could work. Yes, precipitately is an adverb when, ly words are usually adverb words, right? And again, yeah, precipitately is a word that means too sudden, right? Because it was kind of made to happen too quickly. So it's still related to the same meaning. Being vulnerable can precipitate unexpected stuff. Good. Okay. Isn't precipitate a French word that means to be in a rush? Huda, 30% of English words come from French. Okay, so precipitate is actually, it's a Latin word, not a French word, because, I would say, 60 or 70% of French words come from Latin. Precipitate. Precipitate comes from the Latin word precipitatus, meaning to throw or dive headlong or to be hasty. Okay, so you're close, Huda. Originally, it was a French word, and then it was a Latin word before that. And then, yes, it means to be in a rush or be hasty. Okay? Let's see. Kim says, my friend precipitated getting a shotgun marriage. Well, you could say the discussion my friend had with her father precipitated their shotgun marriage, which means he had a talk with the girl's father, and he said, you better marry my daughter. And so that was why they got married in a shotgun marriage, which means you better marry my daughter or I'm going to shoot you. Okay, good. I think you guys I think you guys understand. Yeah, precipitier, right? I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, but is it precipite? Precipiter? I don't know. My French sucks. But anyway, the point is that, yeah. Remember, 30% of English words come from French. Okay? 60% of English words come from Latin. Okay? This phenomenon is called code borrowing. Not exactly, mister. Code borrowing is slightly different. This phenomenon is called etymology. Okay? Etymology means the history of where words come from and how they've changed over time. So, what you're talking about is more like the Chinese word for sofa. The English word sofa in Chinese is shafa. That's where you borrow words from one language, right? Or the Japanese word for milk is milku, right? That's slightly different. What we're talking about with precipitate is where does the word come from originally and how it's changed over time. And English words, 30% of English words are French, 60% of English words are Latin or Greek, 20% of English words are German. We have English words from Hindi, from Arabic, from Persian, from Chinese, from Japanese. So that's slightly different than code borrowing. Okay. Let's move on to the next word. Assuage. Assuage. To assuage, it's a verb. It means to make an unpleasant feeling less intense. So it means to make somebody feel better about something bad. Okay? Yeah, to soothe. That's right. To make somebody feel better about something bad is to assuage their bad feelings. Okay? Yeah, to reduce their bad feelings. Okay? What's precipitate's preposition? Well, that depends on how you use it. Prepositions are not, what's the right word? Wait, let me think. They're not single-use terms. Prepositions often have more than one possibility depending on how you're trying to use it. Okay, so I precipitate in I precipitate at, I precipitate with, I precipitate from. It depends on how you're using the sentence, okay? To also could be used. But again, Huda, it depends on your sentence, okay? All right, so again, to assuage. To assuage means to make somebody feel better about something bad, okay? Could be a physical pain or an emotional pain, okay? Or emotional difficulty or physical difficulty, right? So here's the example here. A massage can assuage the soreness in your muscles. Yeah, or the conversation my father and I had assuaged me of my fears, okay? To assuage someone. All right? To pacify or mollify or alleviate. Okay, Mohan, wait a minute. I would say no. I would say, Mohan, all four of those words are roughly the same usage. Okay? I don't use assuage very often. I don't use pacify very often. I very rarely use mollify. And alleviate is probably the most common of those four. But again, those are not synonymous with each other. To pacify means to make someone feel satisfied somehow, possibly temporarily. Okay? Mollify, let me think. Let's see. Mollify is more like appeasing someone's anger or anxiety. But yeah, so mollify could be the closest synonymous word of the ones you recommended here or suggested. However, mollify is not commonly used. Okay, assuage would be much more common than mollify. Okay, mollify is much more formal. Okay, and alleviate means to relieve or make something better, but it could be alleviating the pressure from something. Okay, so those are all, you have to remember, everybody, in English, there are many, many words that have many cousins, but there are not many words that have perfect twins. Okay, so almost every word, the synonymous words are not exactly synonymous. They're related, okay? They're cousins, all right? Her friend assuaged her grief. That's right, yeah. We can assuage our vibe by watching comedy series. Yeah, we can assuage our bad mood by watching a comedy movie, right? Why what, Safia? I'm not sure what you're whying. Friends' support always assuages my feelings of loneliness. Yeah, mm-hmm. Her motivational speeches assuaged his pressure. Sure, mm-hmm. I tried to assuage her bad feelings and gave her a pep talk, but that couldn't help as she was completely down. Yep, cold coffee can assuage your energy. I don't know about that one. Well, first of all, I drink cold coffee every day, and it never assuages my energy. It always makes me have energy. So I don't know if I would agree with that just on principle. After having medicine, his fever has assuaged. Kim, I think I would say instead, I think I would say the medicine has assuaged his fever. Okay, that would be a better way to use that. Doctor tried to alleviate her symptoms with some pills. Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you wouldn't say assuage her symptoms, you would say alleviate her symptoms. Assuage would be more appropriate if you were talking about feelings. Alleviate is could be about feelings, but it's more likely about something tangible and real. Okay? My close friend assuages me when I'm nervous. Good. Assuaging someone else's pain makes you kind. Good. Noah, I don't think that's correct. Can I make an example that's more simple for this word? To assuage? Well, again, look at this example. The massage can assuage the soreness in your muscles. So in this case, this is one that I feel like I would use the word alleviate for that sentence and not assuage. Okay? So for me, as a person, and again, remember, vocabulary is somewhat interpretational, right? It's how you interpret it, right? And for me, when I use the word assuage, I'm usually thinking more about feelings. When I use the word alleviate, I'm thinking more about something tangible and real, right? So we alleviate soreness. We assuage sadness. Okay? We alleviate soreness. We assuage sadness. Okay? All right. I think you guys got it. All right. Let's move on to the next one. I love this next word. Erudite. Erudite. I love this next word. Erudite is an adjective. It means having or showing great knowledge. It means you're smart. It means you know a lot. You're very erudite. Okay? He's a very erudite person. That's right. Okay? He is a very erudite person. Means he's knowledgeable. He knows a lot. Okay? Erudite. High school students often struggle with novels that are more erudite than they are entertaining. Okay? So, meaning those novels, those books, they have great knowledge in them, right? Like War and Peace or Great Expectations. Those are great books with a lot of great points and moral lessons to be learned. But they're difficult, right? And they require a lot of understanding of great knowledge, right? So the novels are more erudite than they are entertaining, right? They're not so fun. Okay? All right, let's see. Erudite does mean knowledgeable. Yeah, it means very knowledgeable. Knowledgeable is kind of a funny thing. If I say he's knowledgeable, erudite is here. Knowledgeable is here. Okay, so for example, if I want to go buy a new TV, I go to the store, and I'm hoping that the salesperson will be knowledgeable about the TVs. Now, if he's knowledgeable about the TVs, does that mean he is erudite? No. No, it means he's knowledgeable. It means he has knowledge about that thing. To be erudite implies you have lots of knowledge about great many things, right? Okay? He seems erudite, yeah. Para was an erudite teacher on Hello Talk. Para was an erudite teacher on Hello Talk. I haven't talked to Para in a while. I hope he's okay. Anybody know what's going on with Para? The story visualizes the protagonist as an erudite and a source of knowledge. Mister, I would say the story visualizes the protagonist as erudite and a great source of knowledge. Okay? His erudite writings showed his extensive knowledge of history and philosophy. Three. Wafa is so erudite person. You could say Wafa is a very erudite person, or you could say Wafa is very erudite, or just Wafa is erudite. She seems to have every answer to every question. Okay? It is better not to argue with erudite people, otherwise they will beat you with their knowledge. Yeah. It's better not to argue with erudite people, okay? He reads so many books that makes him an erudite person. Yeah. But I think, Mohan, you need to add a word. He reads so many books that it makes him an erudite person, or it has made him an erudite person would probably be a better way to say it, okay? Or you could say he is an erudite person because he has read so many books, okay? The erudite professor was well versed in multiple languages and ancient cultures. Good. She is known as an erudite, savvy employee, and that helped her to jump fast in the hierarchy position. Let's see. She is known as an erudite and savvy employee, and that helped her to jump. You could say that helped her to move up the ladder faster. Okay, to move up the ladder is an idiom that means to move up higher in position in the company. Okay, to move up the ladder. My grandfather is very erudite. Good. What's the difference between knowledgeable and nerd? Nerd is a slang term. It's a derogatory term. Well, it used to be a derogatory term, but I don't feel it is anymore. A nerd is a word that it used to mean somebody who knows a lot, but it's like kind of a bad thing. Right? You're saying, oh, you nerd. Like, you spend all your days reading books. You're such a nerd. Why don't you come outside and play with us? We're playing while you're reading. So when you make fun of the kid who is reading instead of playing, that's the kid you call the nerd, right? Now, that used to be a bad thing. But the truth is, the world needs nerds, okay? No offense. If you like sports, that's great. But the truth is, Messi being a great soccer player is not helping the world with anything. Okay? So, there are some people who are not that interested in sports because they don't see the knowledge value. They don't see the social evolutionary value. Okay? Knowledgeable just means you know something about it. Okay? All right. My son is very intelligent. He is very erudite in our history. Good, Ashraf, except the word son should be spelled S-O-N, not S-U-N. S-U-N is the sun in the sky. S-O-N is your son, a child that you have who's male. Thank you, Mia. I tried to be erudite, but I don't think I am. Where does it come from? The word erudite comes from the Latin word eruditus, meaning learned, accomplished, or well-informed. Okay, so the original word is a Latin word, erudire, meaning to educate, teach, instruct, polish. Yeah. And yes, it literally means the E in the beginning of erudite comes from the Latin letters X, meaning out. Okay? And then rudis means rough. So erudite means to bring out from the rough, meaning you were dumb, and now I've brought you out of that. Okay, that's to be erudite. And yes, it's related to the word rude. Very good. Yeah, it's kind of funny. The word rude and erudite are related. Erudite means really smart, knowledgeable, okay, great knowledge. Rude means rough. Your language is rude. It's rough. It's not appropriate. Okay? All right. Yeah, Oxy, I'm sorry about the subtitles, everybody. That's a Hello Talk problem. All right. What is the preposition? Again, Mirna, and for everybody else here, prepositions often have more than one possible choice. So he is very, very erudite in history. He is very erudite with this subject. He is very erudite on the topic of blah, blah, blah. Right? So in this case, there's more than one preposition that could be used. It depends on what you're trying to say. Okay? Why is erudite good and nerd is good? Well, erudite is good because it just means really smart. And nerd, I think, yeah, we just need more nerds in the world. Yeah. I hate to say that, but it's true. We don't need more people who can kick a ball and catch a ball. No, I'm sorry. We need people who are good at math and science. We don't need people who can throw a ball really far or run really fast. That is not what the human species really needs right now, okay? Being really fast and being really strong, those were extremely valuable qualities during the early periods of human evolution. Because if you weren't fast, the lion would eat you. If you weren't strong, the bear would kill you. Right? So those used to be extremely important qualities in life. Okay? But I'm not worried about bears eating me anymore. I'm not worried about lions eating me anymore. I am worried about climate change. So I don't need to be strong enough to kill a lion anymore, but I do need to be smart enough to stop climate change. Okay? All right. Namina says the author Dostoevsky, you could say the erudite author Dostoevsky shows his great knowledge in his book. Yeah. Sayoma says, Messi inspiring someone. Yeah, I know. Yeah, sports people can inspire people, but so can nerds. You know, smart people can inspire people too. So I guess what I'm saying, Sayoma, is inspiring people is not something that only sports people can do, right? Do speakers of English use these vocabulary in daily life? No, these are not daily life words. These are advanced vocabulary words, okay? All right? Okay, be patient. I'm trying to catch up with the comments here. Wait a minute. Erudite means very knowledgeable, very smart. He's wise. He's erudite. Okay? And Mickey, listen to me. Erudite. Erudite. Okay? All right, let's go to the next word. Opaque. Opaque is the next word. Opaque is an adjective. It means you can't see through it. You're not able to see through it. It's not easily understood. So this one has two meanings. One is a literal meaning and one is a metaphorical meaning. Okay, so the literal meaning of opaque means this book is opaque. You cannot see through it. Okay? But I could also say your answer is opaque. It means not easily understood, like not clear. I can't see through. Okay? And yes, Huda says we use it in French as well, because again, any QUE word, the QUE words usually come from French, right? So let's see. Yeah, right. So it comes from the Latin word opacus, which means shaded or dark, obscure, unclear. But there's the French word opaque, which again comes from the Latin word, right? So again, remember, if you know French, you have an advantage learning English because there are a lot of French words that are almost the same in English, okay? Is opaque the opposite of lucid? They have an almost opposite relationship, yes. Okay, if something is very lucid, his answers are very lucid, his answers are very clear. His answers are very opaque, his answers are not clear. So you could use it in that way. Yes, they're opposites in that way. Yeah. Sir Thomas Young used an opaque object during the double slit experiment. Good. Yes. Mm-hmm. Transparent versus opaque. Transparent means you can see through it, right? So we have transparent, translucent, and opaque. Okay? Transparent means you can see through it 100% clearly. Translucent is more like my green glass here. You can see through it, but it's not 100%, right? And then like some light can come through, but it's not clear, okay? And then there's opaque, which means my coffee mug is opaque. My glass is translucent. Okay, the plastic glass is translucent, but my real glass is transparent. Okay? Is it correct to say English is an opaque language? You could. Okay, and Noah, remember, I like to remember about John Milton and Shakespeare. John Milton and Shakespeare were two big writers, right? Authors, right? English authors. And they created many, many new words. And they created many new ways of saying things. So maybe nobody has ever said English is an opaque language before, but that doesn't mean you can't. Okay? If you say English is an opaque language, I know what you mean. Okay? So yes, you can use it that way. The instructions for assembling the furniture were incredibly opaque. Yep, you can use it that way. Yep. Can you use opaque when you're talking about food? I think only if you're trying to talk about can you see through it. I don't know how you would use it otherwise. Yeah, I think, for example, maybe you're cooking some potatoes and you want them to be very sliced very thin so that you can see through them, right? You want them to be translucent so the light can come through. So you go back to the kitchen and you check on the worker who's cutting the potatoes, but he's cutting them too thick. So they are opaque when you cook them. Right? If they're thin, when you cook them, they'll come out, so you can almost see through, right? The opaque glass blocked the view from outside. Good. Modern art is somehow opaque. Can be. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Erudite people don't use opaque words. Possibly. His explanation was so opaque that I still didn't understand the concept. Good. He is often taciturn. Good word. Which led him to have an opaque personality. Yeah, sure, you can use that. Mm-hmm. I think you could say it that way. I like the way you said that. Remember, using vocabulary is like poetry. It's an art, okay? You have to be what we call a wordsmith. A wordsmith means you know the words, but you also know how to use them, to put them together really well. Okay, so knowing vocabulary is one thing, but if you don't know how to put the words together well, then it doesn't really matter how good your vocabulary is, because every sentence will sound weird, okay? The painting was really opaque. I didn't get anything from it. Yeah, you could use it that way. His motives were as opaque as a black hole, impossible to fathom. Good. Can I put these words on my page to review it? I can't do that because it's too big, but I can do this. I'll give you the link right here. Okay, so all of these words, that is the link that I'm looking at right now. Okay, that is the page I'm looking at, Ashraf. All right, let's go to the next one. I like the next word, prodigal. Prodigal. Okay, it's related to the word prodigy, right? He is a prodigy, means he's amazing. He's incredible, okay? But in this case, prodigal means wastefully extravagant, okay? So the most classic way that we talk about this word is they talk about the prodigal son. The prodigal son. So you have the king and you have the prodigal prince. Okay, the prince is spoiled. Okay, he wants 400 horses and only white horses, and the horses should have gold on their hooves, and they should have braided hair with expensive perfumes in them, and every day the horses should eat only the finest grass in the world. Okay, prodigal. Yeah, again, French. Yeah. Yeah. Or actually, no, again, Latin, right? The word prodigal. Let's go back and look. Prodigal. Prodigal comes from the Latin word prodigalis or prodigious, meaning wasteful. Interesting. One moment. Yeah. So yeah, the Latin, the French word again comes from the Latin word. Yeah, and it means to be really wasteful. Okay. The prodigal son spent all his inheritance on luxurious things, right, or living, right, good. He was rather prodigal with his praise even for minor achievements. Sure, yeah, that's good. Yeah, you could say it that way. That's a good way to say it. The prodigal Lady Gaga's song amazed my fragile emotional world. Yeah, that's right. Okay, let's see. Okay, but Alexandra, are you trying to call Lady Gaga wasteful, or are you trying to call her a genius? My friend's idea is totally prodigal. It's really devastating. Is that what you mean, devastating? Maybe. Yeah. So, extravagant genius. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay. So, yeah. Yeah. If you think that Lady Gaga is extravagant, like she, you know, buys too much stuff and has too much expensive stuff and she wastes a lot of money and she's very over the top with her luxury, then yeah, you can call her the prodigal Lady Gaga. Okay? Oh, is that a song by her? I had no idea. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I think I misunderstood. Thank you. See, I'm not familiar with Lady Gaga's pop music, so I don't know. The song The Prodigal by Lady Gaga amazed my fragile emotional world. Thank you, Mickey. Very good. Good job. Although he is wealthy, he has never behaved as a prodigal, but helped those in need instead. Huda, only one problem. In this case, the word prodigal is an adjective, and you're using it as a noun. So, let me check something. So the noun form of it Yeah, it has a noun form. Yeah, you could use it that way. Yep, you can call them a prodigal. Sure. Yep. Her prodigal spending habits left her deeply in debt. Good. Despite his warnings, his prodigal nephew continued to spend money recklessly. Good. Yeah. Good. Excellent. Well done. Okay, the next word. Yeah, so here's the last sentence. The prodigal prince bought lavish gifts and planned expensive events, right? Okay, the next word is enigma. Enigma. What is an enigma? Yeah, there you go, Huda. Yeah. Spanish speakers say the same thing, Huda, right? When I teach English to Spanish speakers, they often find words that are English words that they say, oh, we have the same word in Spanish. Again, why? Because Latin is the root language of both Spanish and French, right? So that means there are many, many words that are crossover that way, okay? Yeah, there you go. Same word in Spanish. Okay? And the reason why is because the word enigma comes from the Greek word enigma, meaning a riddle, a dark, something dark that's misunderstood, something that you can't understand. Okay? It's obscure. It's a riddle. Okay? So if you say he's an enigma, means you can't understand him. He's a puzzle. He's weird. He's hard to understand. Okay? His behavior is strange. He's an enigma. Okay? Mysterious. Could be. Sometimes the word enigma implies that you're more mysterious. Sometimes the word implies that you're a little weird or strange. Right? Hard to understand because your behavior is abnormal or different. Okay? He's an enigma. All right? You can't understand why, he makes his decisions that way, right? Like most people, you understand why they make a decision, right? When they have certain facts, you know why they make a decision. But there are some people that, even when they have all the facts, they're going to make a decision completely differently, and you can't understand why. That they're an enigma, okay? Enigma, I don't think it has a verb form. Let's find out. Enigmatic would be the adjective form. Let me see. Yeah, it does have a verb form, but it's a very rarely used one. Enigmatize. Enigmatize, but I have never seen it used in that form. Okay? I have never seen the word enigmatize used before. I've seen enigma used many times. Okay? Sure. Enigmatize. But again, remember, Myrna, I have never seen that word in my entire life until right now. So that's a very rarely used form, okay? All right, scientists continue to research cancer to solve the enigma of its primary cause. We don't know what makes it happen, right? And here, let's go to the next word. We're going to do one more word. One more word. We're going to talk about this word, fervid. Fervid. Fervid is an adjective. And what does fervid mean? It means intensely enthusiastic or passionate. Okay? If you're very passionate, you have a lot of energy about something, you're very excited about something, you're very enthusiastic about something, then you are fervid. You have a fervid interest, a fervid fascination, a fervid passion. Okay? And fervent, yeah, yeah. Yeah, fervid and fervent. Okay? Can I tell you a common verb for enigma? I'm going to look, but I don't know. There's nothing in my thesaurus. Let me try this. I think you could use the word puzzle. To puzzle someone, a puzzle can be a verb or a noun. It is a puzzle is a noun. But he puzzles me means he confuses me. Okay, so I would say the common word would be to puzzle someone. Okay? All right, the fervid love he had for his country was unwavering. The politician gave a fervid speech that inspired the audience. Good. Huda, we have both fervid and fervent in English. Okay, different forms. Why is it not in the Cambridge Dictionary? It should be. Are you sure you spelled it correctly? Here it is in my dictionary. Let's go to Cambridge. Huh. That's a mistake. That's a mistake on Cambridge's part. Cambridge has a problem with their dictionary. It should be there, but it's not. You're right. Okay. I don't know why, Lita. They have a mistake in their dictionary, but it's in mine. Okay. Fervid, fervent, fevered, and feverish are all the same. No. So fervid and fervent both mean intensely enthusiastic or passionate about something. Okay. Fevered and feverish. A fever means that you're sick and your body is hot. Your body is hotter than the temperature it should be. That's to have a fever. Okay? But the reason why they're related is because there's a metaphorical meaning, right? When you have passion for something, it's hot. Passion is hot, right? So if you have enthusiasm and passion for something, that's like fire. You have fire for it, right? Fever means you are hot. Okay, so feverish and fever, same thing, really. Okay, okay. But Anahita, here's a good one that you didn't know. The word February is related to the word fever. The word February comes from the, is it the Roman or Greek god? Februa. Februa. And in February, in Roman times, I believe it was in Roman times, during February, they used to have a celebration called Februa, right? And in this celebration, they used to burn bonfires, like big fires, right? They'd make a big fire, and they had different kinds of rituals where they would burn fires and people would either dance around the fires or they would get really close to the fires and it would make you really hot. And maybe you would see hallucinations or something, right? So the word February is actually related to the word fever. Could I say I will introduce products to the guests fervidly? We have already done a good job in advance when the guests are needed. The first half of it, yes. I will introduce products to the guests fervidly. You could say it that way, yeah. Absolutely. Yes, but then the second half you could say, I will introduce products to the guests fervidly. And if we do, then we have already done a good job in advance of the guests arriving. Okay? You're fervid for your life. Okay. Sure. All right. Okay, guys, guess what? That was an hour and a half. That was an hour and a half we just did. I did 10 words in an hour and a half. So the words that we reviewed today are anomaly. It is an anomaly, means something strange or different or out of ordinary, right? Out of the ordinary. It's an anomaly. It's weird. It's different. That's never happened before. That's an anomaly. Equivocal means that you're describing multiple things like they're the same, like they're equal, but they're not equal, right? So you're describing many things, and you're deliberately, purposefully trying to describe them in a way that makes them sound like they're equal, but they're not, okay? Lucid means very clear, easy to understand. His lecture was very lucid. Okay, his explanation was very lucid. Okay. Precipitate. To cause something to happen quickly, to hasten, right? To make something happen faster, right? When he was fired from his job, that precipitated his decision to move. Okay? Because he was fired from his job, so that forced him to decide sooner. Maybe he was thinking about moving, but now that he got fired, now he's going to move. Okay? It precipitated his decision. To assuage. To assuage meaning to make you feel better about something. Okay? Make you feel less bad. All right? I want to assuage my friend when she broke up with her boyfriend. Right? I want to assuage her. My niece broke my favorite coffee mug. And I want to assuage her of her bad feelings. Like, she feels sad. She feels bad because she broke my favorite mug. So I want to assuage her, okay, of her sadness. Okay, erudite means that you're smart. He's a very erudite professor. Okay, he's very erudite, means he knows a lot. Okay, opaque means either two meanings. One is the deliberate, the literal meaning, meaning you can't see through it. Okay, my coat, my jacket is opaque. You cannot see through it. Okay, or the other word is not easily understood. The other meaning is not easily understood. His answer was very opaque. His explanation was opaque. All right? Prodigal, meaning wastefully extravagant. The prodigal son returns. That means the wasteful, extravagant son. It's funny because people hear the word prodigal and they think of the word prodigy. They think a prodigy is a compliment. He's a prodigy. Means that he's very rarely talented, right? Like exceptionally rarely talented, all right? But prodigal, not the same meaning. Prodigal means wasteful, like you waste a bunch of money, okay? An enigma, he is an enigma, means a puzzle. You can't understand. It's an enigma, he's an enigma, that's an enigma, okay? It's hard to understand. And finally, fervid, meaning intensely enthusiastic or passionate. The child showed a fervid fascination for superheroes, poring over comic books for hours. Okay, so the child showed a fervid fascination. Okay, passionate, fervid, like a fever, that's what we used to say is if you have a serious interest in something, you know, like I have drum fever. Drum fever means I'm suddenly very passionate about the drums. Okay? If I say I have cooking fever, it means I really love cooking suddenly. Okay? I really love cooking. All right? I have a fever for it. I'm fervid. Okay? That's how the word fever and fervid are related. They both mean like a fiery passion, Okay? What was that word? Prodigal? Yeah, prodigal. That's it. You got it right. Prodigal. Prodigal means wasteful and extravagant. So, for example, a king has a son, the prince, and the prince is the prodigal prince. He's always spending money on wasteful things. So he has 400 black horses, and he has, 400 gold saddles for the horses. And the horses only eat the most expensive food. He's the prodigal prince, right? He spends money on everything wastefully, okay? He's prodigal. All right, guys. So I've been here for about an hour and a half. I'm going to go get some lunch and enjoy the rest of my Saturday. So I hope you guys liked my new live stream. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I missed all the comments over here in YouTube. I'm sorry, Flavia. I hope you're still there. What is the difference between what is your new boss like, and who is your new boss like? Well, those are two very different questions. What is your new boss like is asking somebody to describe the qualities of someone. Who is your new boss like is asking you to describe what person is your boss like. So if you say, what are they like? You could say they're nice, they're funny, they're smart. That's what they are like. Who they are like, oh, he's just like my dad. Okay? All right, guys, that's going to be it for me today. Again, I'm sorry over in YouTube if I wasn't paying attention to the comments over there. It's really hard. I need a third screen. I have two screens, but I need like a third screen so that I'm not missing YouTube comments. I'll try to be better about that next time. Okay, guys? All right. Make sure you follow me. Come back and see me again. Follow me here on Hello Talk. Follow me on YouTube right there. There's my YouTube channel. You can go watch my YouTube channels, and I have a lot of videos there where I teach. Okay? So go check it out. And I will see you guys next time, okay? Thank you very much, Lita. Thank you, Rahul. Yeah, it was good. We did some advanced stuff. Usually I do beginner or intermediate level tips, but today was advanced English vocabulary, so that's good. All right, guys, have a good morning, have a good afternoon, have a good evening, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye, everyone.